every day, without warning. A silent habit might be draining your strength, slowly eroding your energy, clarity, and resilience. In a world addicted to instant gratification, it's easy to lose yourself without even realizing it. This video reveals a hidden trap many fall into, and more importantly, how to break free through the timeless power of Stoic wisdom. You'll learn why mastering your urges, reclaiming your discipline, and living with conscious purpose are not luxuries, but necessities for inner freedom. This isn't about guilt or judgment. It's about awakening to the quiet battles that shape your destiny. If you're ready to stop trading your future for fleeting pleasures and start building true, unshakable strength from within, stay with us. Sometimes, the most important change begins not with grand action, but by facing the quiet truths we've long ignored. The hidden truth, the habit that silently drains your life energy. What if I told you there's a seemingly harmless habit quietly draining your energy, focus, and confidence every single day? A habit so normalized in modern society, yet in reality, it's holding you back from reaching your true potential. No loud alarms, no warnings, just a slow erosion of your spirit until you wake up one day, barely recognizing yourself. We live in a world overflowing with temptations. Every swipe, every tap opens a shortcut to instant gratification. Among countless temptations, there's one silent battle that many men are struggling with: excessive masturbation. At first, it may seem like a natural act, even healthy, when done in moderation. But over time, fueled by the ease of technology, it morphs into something else, a source of energy depletion, a thief stealing your resilience and focus. Perhaps you've told yourself, just this once. Yet soon, you find yourself trapped in an invisible cycle. Each moment of short-lived pleasure trades away long-term clarity, willpower, and inner strength. You're no longer acting consciously, you're reacting out of impulse, rather than choosing according to your reason and values. This video isn't here to judge you. It's a reminder. True inner freedom cannot exist while you remain a slave to fleeting pleasures. Having the courage to face this habit honestly and without excuses is the first step toward mastering your emotions, reducing anxiety, and reclaiming control over your life. No one else can walk this journey for you. But the moment you recognize what's silently stealing your strength, you've already begun. A journey not just of saving energy, but of forging resilience against temptation, regaining clarity of thought, and returning to a state of true inner freedom. What matters most is not what you did yesterday. What matters is the choice you make from this moment onward. Will you continue being swept away by temporary pleasures? Or will you rise, take control, and start rewriting your destiny? The dopamine loop, the sweet trap that makes you lose yourself. To understand why so many fall into this loop, you must confront how your brain actually works. What makes a fleeting act capable of controlling your entire emotional life? It all begins with dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for feelings of pleasure and motivation. Every time you view pornography and reach orgasm, your brain gets flooded with a surge of dopamine. The pleasure is immediate, effortless, and dangerously addictive. The problem is, your brain cannot distinguish between real human intimacy and lifeless digital images. To the brain, pleasure is pleasure. And thus, you get pulled into a vortex. The more dopamine you release, the more stimulation you crave just to feel that original high again. Gradually, normal life experiences no longer bring joy. A friendly gathering, a work achievement, even a peaceful moment, none of them seem vibrant compared to the artificial stimulation. You start feeling drained without knowing why. Your mind becomes sluggish, lifeless. Each short-lived satisfaction brings guilt, regret, and a gnawing erosion of self-respect. It's no longer a natural behavior, it becomes dependency. The trap lies in its silence. Because society rarely talks about it seriously, it's easy to lie to yourself, everyone does it, or it's no big deal. But in truth, every time you chase instant pleasure, you are trading away your clarity, your resilience, and your inner freedom. Understanding the dopamine mechanism is a turning point. Because if you don't know how you're being manipulated, you'll never regain autonomy. But once you realize it's the hunger for immediate gratification that's quietly weakening your mind, you begin to see each urge differently, through the eyes of someone who is awake, no longer blindly dragged by unconscious reflexes. Freedom doesn't come from suppressing emotions. It comes from understanding them, observing them, and choosing your response consciously. And that process begins with recognizing the dopamine trap you are facing every day. The hidden price. When your body, mind, and relationships begin to fracture, many think this habit only affects a few fleeting moments in the day. But the truth is, the price you're paying is far greater, and it's happening silently, little by little, until you feel lost without knowing why. Physically, excessive masturbation throws your body's hormones out of balance. Frequent ejaculation drains vast stores of biological energy that should fuel health, vitality, and resilience. Muscle growth slows. Testosterone, the cornerstone of masculine strength, plummets. You feel inexplicably sluggish, weak, devoid of vitality. Then sleep suffers too. Masturbation at night disrupts your natural sleep cycles, breaking the restoration your mind and body desperately need. Sleepless nights, heavy mornings, signs of a body being drained from within. But the greatest damage is not just physical. Your mind begins to fade into a mist of sluggishness. You find it harder to concentrate, harder to think deeply. Each indulgence costs not only energy, but clarity. Anxiety and depression silently seep in. Guilt, shame, and disappointment stack, layer upon layer, quietly eroding your already fragile self-respect. And when your inner world is wounded, your connections with others suffer too. You withdraw. Avoid real intimacy. Moments of human connection feel awkward, forced. You may stand among crowds yet feel suffocatingly alone. This is no small issue. It's a silent crisis, eating away at your physical strength, your mental clarity, and your capacity to love. The most dangerous part, it happens so slowly that you don't notice until the damage has woven itself into who you are. But here's the good news. If you have the courage to face this truth, you are already halfway there. Because only by seeing the price you are paying can you decisively choose a different path, a path of self-mastery, recovery, and a life filled with vibrant energy and true inner freedom. Stoic wisdom, how to reclaim mastery over yourself in a world overflowing with temptations. Maintaining a steady mind is no longer optional, it is an art of living. And no philosophy teaches this art better than Stoicism, a philosophy born over 2,000 years ago, yet still resonating powerfully in the inner battles of the modern soul. The Stoics never sought to eliminate emotions. They sought to master them. They didn't expect the external world to bend to their will. They trained themselves to remain unshaken in any circumstance, even in the face of the most powerful urges. The first lesson of Stoicism: control what you can. As Epictetus taught, you cannot control what happens outside of you, but you can always control your response. The emergence of an urge is beyond your control, but whether you act on it or not is entirely your choice. Once you realize this, you begin to reclaim the power you once unknowingly surrendered. The second lesson: the power of delaying gratification. The Stoics practiced the ability to refuse immediate pleasure in order to nourish long-term inner strength. Every time you say no to easy satisfaction, you silently build resilience. It's like strengthening a muscle. Each moment you overcome a temptation, you not only uphold your discipline, you fortify your self-respect and willpower. The third lesson, live with a clear purpose. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, would ask himself each morning, what is my purpose today? When you stay focused on deeper values, self-development, contributing to others, fulfilling meaningful goals, you naturally distance yourself from unconscious behavior and fleeting pleasures. If you don't consciously define your own purpose, the world will define you through 1,000 petty temptations. But when you live with purpose, you become resilient against adversity, clear in your decisions, and free in your mind. Self-mastery is not a moment of inspiration. It is a daily, hourly practice, and the Stoic path, with its emphasis on internal control, self-discipline, and purpose, becomes your compass, guiding you out of the whirlwind of temptation and back to your true self. From awareness to action, 10 strategies to break free from addiction. Awareness alone is not enough. Stoic wisdom teaches us that knowledge without action is empty. To truly escape the negative cycle, you need practical, concrete steps, a daily practice to rebuild your inner strength. Here are 10 actionable strategies you can start today. Step 1. Track your habit. Record every time you feel an urge, every time you act, and every time you succeed in resisting. Awareness is the first crack in unconsciousness. Step 2. Eliminate triggers. Unfollow explicit social media accounts. Install content filters. Change your phone and computer usage habits. Don't test your willpower by constantly exposing yourself to temptation. Step 3. Replace the habit. When an urge arises, don't just sit there fighting it in your mind. Act immediately. Do push-ups. Go for a walk. Write in your journal. Listen, point to music, meditate. Move your body to redirect the energy rather than suppress it. Step 4. Take cold showers. A classic Stoic mental exercise. The sharp coldness trains you to endure discomfort and soothes an overstimulated nervous system. Step 5. Set clear goals. Why do you want to change? What are you striving for? Write down your goals and keep them visible. A mind with direction is harder to sway. Step 6. Practice daily meditation. Spend a few minutes observing your breath, observing your emotions without judgment, without reacting. Meditation lengthens the gap between urge and action, that sacred space where true freedom lies. Step 7. Share your journey, even with just one trusted friend, or by joining a community with similar goals. Genuine connection creates strength and positive accountability. Step 8. Keep yourself occupied. An empty mind is fertile ground for temptation. Fill your time with work, hobbies, learning, sports activities that lift you up rather than pull you down. Step 9. Reward progress. Celebrate small milestones, 7 days, 30 days, 90 days. Not with material rewards. Sometimes a simple affirmation like "I'm becoming stronger every day" is enough. Step 10. Forgive yourself. If you slip, don't wallow in guilt. Get up, learn from it, and move forward. Forgiveness is not an excuse for failure, it's fuel for growth. You can't undo years of habits in a few days. But each small, repeated action rewires your nervous system, reshapes your thinking, and rebuilds who you are. Starting today, you are no longer a victim dragged by every urge. You are the captain of your ship, steering steadily toward the light of inner freedom. Forging the inner warrior, the mindset of self-mastery. Each day you choose to resist an urge, you are silently forging a kind of strength few possess. A strength not loud, not boastful, but deeply etched into every action, every decision, every glance. It is the foundation of true self-mastery. The warrior's mindset is not the absence of temptation. Rather, the warrior feels the urge more keenly than anyone, but instead of reacting, he pauses, observes, and chooses to act from reason, not impulse. Each moment you delay gratification, each time you endure discomfort without giving in, you are sharpening yourself, layer by layer. Imagine each time you resist an urge as lifting a weight for the spirit. You won't see changes overnight, but over time. Your inner core becomes stronger, more resilient, harder to sway. On this journey, failure is inevitable. There will be days you stumble, moments you feel exhausted. But do not let these failures define you. What sets a warrior apart is not that he never falls, but that each time he falls, he rises stronger, adjusts his armor, and continues the fight with deeper resolve. The small daily practices, resisting minor temptations, staying focused on work, persisting toward personal goals, build an unshakable strength. And once you are strong enough to withstand the inner battles, you will walk into the world with a serenity untouched by praise, criticism, or life's ups and downs. Resilience doesn't mean rigidity. A true warrior knows when to fight and when to retreat to recover. Strength lies not just in hardness, but in flexible adaptation, in knowing what to let go, and in unwavering loyalty to your core values. Each day you choose the path of discipline over ease. You carve into yourself a foundation no external force can erode. A foundation of silent resilience, unshakable confidence, and profound inner freedom. And when you persevere on this path, step by step, you'll realize the greatest victory is not defeating others, but conquering yourself. Commitment to rebirth, the journey toward a strong and purposeful life. Walking the path of change is not a one-time decision. It is a commitment renewed each day. This commitment doesn't need grand declarations. It lives quietly but persistently alive in every small choice. Every time you refuse fleeting pleasure and move toward your long-term goals. Every morning, you'll face choices, continue surrendering to old habits, or patiently walk the new path. Some days will feel easier. Others will feel like you are fighting against yourself. But it's precisely within those difficult moments that true strength is forged. Commitment doesn't demand perfection, it demands perseverance. No one expects you never to stumble. What matters is whether you have the courage to get back up, adjust your course, and keep moving forward. Each time you overcome a failure, you not only continue your journey, you deepen your trust in yourself. Commitment also requires living with purpose, not a vague or externally imposed purpose, but one that rises from your core values to become stronger, clearer, freer. When you know what you are truly striving for, every small daily action becomes a step toward that purpose. It's crucial to celebrate small victories. 7 days of self-control, 30 days overcoming the fiercest urges, 90 days rebuilding mental strength. These milestones are not for boasting. They are reminders that you are evolving. You are no longer ruled by impulses and temptations. You are steadily becoming the master of yourself. And remember, this journey is not just about you. Every action you take to become better quietly inspires those around you. As you walk with steadfastness, you generate a powerful, silent energy, the energy of someone free from within. Allow yourself to be reborn every day. No need to wait for a perfect moment. Right now, simply by committing to yourself, you have already begun. Every day is a new opportunity to choose strength, clarity, and resilience. And one day, when you look back, you'll realize it wasn't some miracle that changed your life. It was the accumulation of small choices, silent commitments, and extraordinary patience that created your deepest transformation. Mastering emotions, turning urges into inner strength. If you think the journey of self-mastery is simply about fighting off urges, you've only scratched the surface. Real victory isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about understanding them, facing them, and transforming them into inner strength. Every time an urge arises, whether it's craving pleasure, anger, or fear, it carries immense energy. Most people either give in to it or desperately suppress it. But the Stoic chooses a different path. They observe. When an urge appears, instead of reacting immediately, you can pause, take a deep breath, and simply recognize it. No judgment, no repression, no fusion with it. You gently tell yourself, this is just a temporary emotion. It is not a command. By doing so, you create a gap between emotion and action, a precious space that defines your inner freedom. In that mindful pause, you can redirect the energy. Instead of channeling it into unconscious behaviors, you turn it into purposeful action, training, meditation, creative work, or simply sitting quietly until the emotional wave passes. Mastering emotions doesn't mean you stop feeling. You still feel, but you are no longer swept away. You no longer live as a victim of impulsive urges. You become the observer, the chooser, the creator of your own actions. And every time you succeed, no matter how small the victory, you are building another solid layer of inner resilience. You are no longer easily manipulated by external circumstances. You no longer allow fleeting impulses to destroy your long-term self-respect. You live with a freedom born not of denying emotions, but of fully embracing them with awareness. Urges will continue to arise. They are part of being human. But what changes is how you meet them. Instead of seeing them as enemies, you recognize them as opportunities for practice. Each time you move through an urge without blind reaction, you are strengthening your inner muscles. You are practicing the art of controlling your mind, rather than letting your mind control you. Mastering emotions is a lifelong art. No one achieves perfect control. But each day you practice, each moment you choose awareness over indulgence, you move closer to true freedom, living from within, unshaken by the storms outside. And that is not just a small victory, it's a fundamental transformation of the quality of your entire life. Inner freedom, when you are no longer a slave to instant gratification. Freedom, a simple word, yet it carries immense weight. Since birth, every human being longs for freedom. Freedom to choose, to act, to become their best self. But here's a truth few realize. The greatest enemy of freedom is not external. It lies within our own minds. And one of the most insidious forms of slavery is being ruled by the desire for instant gratification. When you cannot control your urges, when you allow instincts and pleasures to dictate your actions, you are not free. You are a prisoner of short-term cravings, sacrificing awareness and long-term values for a few empty seconds of satisfaction. Inner freedom doesn't mean you no longer feel desires or emotions. It means that no matter how strong the desire or emotion, you are the one choosing your actions, guided by your values and reason. Emotions may roar, urges may howl, but you remain steadfast, steering the course of your life. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you master your mind, you realize that what once seemed irresistible are just passing waves. You don't have to fight them. You simply stand firm, observe, and let them pass." This kind of freedom brings a deep peace. You are no longer tossed about by external turbulence, praises, criticisms, hunger, glittering but hollow temptations. All become small against the solid foundation you have patiently built within. You begin to live with greater clarity, with a steadfast heart. Every decision comes not from unconscious reaction, but from deep understanding of yourself. You find true joy not in artificial stimulation, but in simple things. A quiet morning, dedicated work, an honest conversation. The shallow thrills no longer attract you, for you have found the source of vitality and joy within yourself. Inner freedom also becomes the foundation for facing greater challenges in life. When you are no longer a slave to pleasure, you are also no longer easily broken by adversity. Because you understand, all external events are merely tests. True strength lies within. The path to inner freedom is not a straight line. There will be doubts. There will be stumbles. But each time you choose awareness over surrender, each time you listen to your reason instead of your urges, you are taking a great leap forward. And one day, you will realize inner freedom is not a destination. It is how you walk every path. A freedom so deep and solid that no one else can give to you, and no one can ever take away.